If you are a regular viewer of my channel, you will have seen my previous videos where I took a smartphone and managed to get the FPV live feed to show on the screen and also use it as a DVR. And that got me thinking, you can buy these goggles for smartphones. Now, they are used to sort of replicate the Oculus Rift 3D style, also the Google Card as well. They're a more fancy version of that. However, they are used for viewing 3D images. That is, that your phone fits in here and it splits the screen, an app splits the screen, and you get two versions of the screen here, and then it's got lenses in here that concentrates on each version of the screen, and you get a 3D view, which it's kind of a gimmick. And what I thought is we could perhaps use these to be able to put our smartphone in, to be able to get FPV on it, or also use it as video goggles for, say, watching a movie or something like that. So I'm going to do that. So the first thing that you need to do is remove the lenses that come with them. That's these, because they are really high zoom and not suitable for this. You'll go cross-eyed if you're trying to do FPV on those. The next thing that you need to do is there is a barrier here so that you get a clear-cut image. I did have a play around with the Google Card app, should I say, and it was okay. One thing that I struggled with is that because it's taken a 16:9 phone and splitting it in two, you get a really stretched sort of portrait image. You don't get a 16:9 image, so I don't think I'm ever going to use that. So I didn't mind destroying this. Like I say, it was £10 from Banggood. But I think it's going to be perfect for this sort of thing. So the first thing I did was I have removed the foam on the side just for ease of use. At first I thought I was going to take this apart because it comes in two parts. However, if you look here, the strap seems to be glued in, so I didn't want to take it apart. And also you'd have to take this foam off here. So what I did was I used a pair of cutters and I very carefully cut down here. I have also cut a bit of the nose away as well. And you'll notice here that we've got some ledges here, and I thought that is fantastic, isn't it? Because what we can do is we can take, say, a Fresnel lens, which I've bought here, cut it up to size, and then it's just going to fit on these latches here. Now, one thing that I have found so far is I've cut the middle piece away as well, because what I was finding when I put the phone in, it was quite distracting. You could see a bit in the middle. Now, that has gone now. So yeah, so on to the next bit, which is taking the Fresnel lens and cutting it to size. Now, obviously, a Fresnel lens is circular, and it starts in the middle and goes out like that. So you have to, when you're doing your measuring up, you have to cut it from the middle. So I don't know if you're gonna, I don't think it's gonna show up on the camera. It's really hard, but because they're tiny little grooves, but the middle is exactly here, okay? And so I have gone ahead and found the sizes that fits on this second ledge here. I did think about putting the lens direct against the eyes, because obviously you want it as far away as possible, but then I thought, well, if I cut any further away from the nose there, it's going to start to get in the way, so I didn't do that. So I've done a lot of trial and error with this, and so that you don't have to, I'm going to give you my sizes here, so just bear with me. So the size here across is 138, so 138 millimeters across this way, and then that way it is 63. So if you want to copy my sizes, you're welcome to it. It's pretty much there. I've also chopped the corners off as well, because if you look in here, the ledges don't go all the way to the top. They sort of cut off. But the Fresnel lens, right? So I got this idea because the Hobby King cheapo goggles use this to amplify the image, make it bigger. So this is ×3 Fresnel lens that I'm using here. You can experiment with different sizes. I think the Hobby King one has got 3 different sizes, and I use the ×3 on that one. So I thought, well, I'll do the same with this particular one. So what I hope to do is hot glue this in. What I like about this particular Fresnel lens is on this side it's a sort of shiny finish and you can't see any of the lens at all, and then this is the side the circular lens is shown on that side. You can hear it there, and soft that side. So I plan to have the soft side, sorry, the glossy side facing that way so we can't see the features of the Fresnel lens. And this, apologies because I've got the flash on the camera, so you can sort of see there it fits in, and I'm going to hot glue this in against these ledges here. And then the phone is going to fit on here, and you've got this nice sticky backing here, so you don't have to make any modifications to your phone. It just sticks in there and it's going to fold up like that, and we're hopefully going to have some nice goggles with a better field of view than the Fat Sharks, no doubt, and possibly the Hobby King goggles as well. Now you'll notice there are some cutouts here. I'll just move that out of the way for now. There's some cutouts here which are usually covered with foam. That's good because it completely blocks all the light out. However, I'm thinking you could probably fit a USB cable out the side there, and then you could have your receiver on top, the laser BGC receiver. Or if you want to watch some immersive movies, then you can plug your phone charger in there and you don't use the battery of your phone. Now I know what you're probably thinking: how can you select record on the DVR when the phone is on here? You can't touch it. What you can do is you can get a Bluetooth wireless mouse or keyboard, and keyboard. Some of them have a mouse and a keyboard, tiny thing. Switch the Bluetooth on, and then you can have the mouse with you, and you can sort of move around the screen with the mouse. So let's get this glued in, and let's see what it looks like. Okay, I've got that hot glued in. I didn't use too much in case I ever want to take it out in the future. One thing I forgot to mention is when you take the eyepieces out, it leaves these holes here at the top, which does let a little bit of light, and you might want to stick some tape over that. Okay, so the next thing to do is get the phone in, attach the receiver, and see what it all looks like. Okay, so we've got the USB on-the-go cable coming out the side here and going into the laser BGC module. I have Velcroed this on. We love Velcro in this hobby, don't we? I've also put a band around it as well to stop this moving, because it does like to move around a bit. So, for the next shot, let's see what it looks like in here. Let's just check out the lovely view. I can't get the camera close enough, but probably about 100 degrees field of view, maybe more. It's quite hard to get a good shot of it. I can't get the camera close enough to what the eye sees, but when I put the camera up to it, I have to look around to get the full screen in. That's because it's a high field of view. Okay, so this is the first flight that I ever did with this, and I'll tell you, it definitely took some adjusting. This is something that I didn't anticipate, because I guess we're into new territory here, but the fact that the field of view is so huge, it actually meant that I had to adjust my flying, actually. So what I didn't realize is, and I suppose I wouldn't until I tried this, is when the screen is smaller, you can see the whole screen. And so you can sort of sense when the quad is drifting to the side and backwards, because you're viewing the whole screen with your eyes. But with this setup, you're having to look around the screen. And at first what I was doing is I was just looking in one position, and that was sort of dead ahead, and it was kind of like having you can see here, look, I'm drifting around all over the place. It was kind of like having a narrow field of view like not a wide angle lens, like a standard lens. And that is because I was just focusing on a very small amount of the screen. What I realized, and you'll see in a bit, I gained more control of it, is you have to literally look around the screen and realize that you are drifting backwards and sideways or whatever. So that is something that, like I say, I couldn't anticipate. I didn't realize that having a huge field of view would mean that, yeah, you really have to look around the screen to see what you're doing. But it really is an insanely immersive experience, I have to say. Way more than the Fat Sharks, way more than the quantum goggles. You have to see it for yourself. The best I can do is show you the DVR footage, and that's what we're looking at now. You can see here I'm getting better control of it as I go into this room. I'm looking at sort of the edges of the screen as well as the center and getting a more accurate flight. But one thing I will say is because this phone has got a 1080p screen, you cannot spot a pixel. You know, when you're looking through the goggles of the Fat Shark or the Quantum goggles, you can definitely see pixels, but this, absolutely no pixels. However, because the resolution of the camera is only 640 by 480, what you get instead is kind of like digital jagged edges because the screen resolution is higher than that of the camera. So that's something to be aware of. You still kind of spot that despite it being on a higher screen there. You can see one of the questions I constantly get asked, and I don't know if people are watching these videos properly, but what's the lag like? Well, you just saw there, I did a landing on that table. The lag is not noticeable. It's the same as any other FPV setup. It's like 10 milliseconds, maybe even less than that. It is not going to affect your flying. I'm flying indoors here, which you need very low amount of lag to be able to do that. Unfortunately, the weather outside is just crazy, so I wasn't able to take it outside. This quad that I've got set up is my only FPV quad at the moment, and it would just get blown about outside. So I think I tried to just to show how good the latency is. I thought I'd do a couple of landings here because you have to be really accurate, have really accurate control to do that with this. So I had a couple of attempts at it. So there you go. That's it, really. This is the end of this video series. We've got some 1080p goggles here. Thanks so much for watching, and please continue to subscribe. I want to thank everyone who have subscribed so far. The numbers are going up really quick, so thanks a lot and cheers.